For those that are just learning how to use Photoshop, I wanted to show you two tools that I absolutely love. The first tool is what's called a spot healing brush tool, and the second tool is the clone tool. These tools will allow me to remove parts of the picture I don't want in my final edit. The spot healing brush tool allows me to paint over or highlight the targeted area of an image, which in this case is this black bucket. And what it will do once I paint over the area, it will look immediately in the area surrounding the targeted object, and it will read color and light and blend pixels to fill in the selected area. It uses something that's called the content aware feature that Photoshop has. It's pretty magical. When we select the spot healing brush tool, we can see on the top here the information like brush size, mode, and type. It's important to note the brush size. Make sure that the size of the brush is relative to the size of the objects that you want to select. You don't want to go too small because it will take you forever to try and select all the area, and it may be easy to miss parts. If you go too big, it may not give you the most accurate result because it will read too much of an area and it won't give you the accurate result. So you need to be quite selective with size. So I'm thinking about 150 is about right size, okay, but I won't do that just yet. First thing I'm going to do First thing I'm going to do is duplicate the layer by grabbing it and dragging it into the new layer icon. And this means now I have two layers on top of each other. So if I select the top layer, I can make changes to it and then the bottom layer won't be affected. So here we go. All right, let's try this. I'm going to zoom in on the bucket. I'm going to select the spot healing tool and I'm going to go down, and I kind of like the size of that brush. That's really good. And I'm just going to paint over the bucket like this, okay? You don't have to be too precise. You want to go over a little bit because that's the area that it will sample so that it can replace the missing information with the area that's just around it. And then you let go and Photoshop does its magic. Here we go. Okay, so the bucket is fairly easy because the detail surrounding the bucket is not cluttered and there aren't any intricate details we have to worry about. But let's try something a little bit harder. Something like removing the girl and the shadow and the foot as well. I will use the same size brush because I think it works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the girl. Okay, we can see that the spot healing tool has done a pretty good job of removing and replacing the information, but we'll need to fix a few places in this picture to make it look realistic. I'll go ahead and remove the shadow now. And the foot. Okay, so now that I have removed the objects that I don't want in the picture, I will use the clone tool to fix up the details. So the first place I'm going to go to fix up is this area here. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in on this, okay? And then I'm going to use the clone tool. Use the clone tool, and the clone tool is this one here. When I click on that, again at the top you can see the brush size, the mode, and the opacity. It's currently set at 42%. I want to set that to 100%. Okay, and I want to make the brush slightly smaller for this particular instance, so about 100 is great. So what I'm going to do now is press Alt or Option on Mac, and I'm going to move my mouse to an area that I want to sample, the area that I want to copy. I'm pressing Alt Option and the mouse is changing now to a selection tool, and I'm going to click on this area because that's the area I want to copy. And then all I'm going to do is just bring it across, and I might do this side as well, and just play with it until I've got something that resembles what should be there quite accurately. Now we've got some broken lines up here, which I'm going to do as well. So I'm going to just quickly go up. I'm going to change my brush size to smaller because I only want to focus on the line here, which I've just sampled. Okay, and I'm going to use that to carry the line across there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back here, sample that, and just make sure that I have that done. Okay, now I'm going to sample the concrete here, and I'm going to paste this concrete down here, and I'm going to do the same on this side. The important thing to remember when you are working with the clone tool is that you don't sample the area too far away from where you want to place it. So if I want to place the concrete here, I don't want to sample it from over here or even up the top, because it will differ in lighting and it will often be the giveaway that you've done some work on that area, so it won't look natural. So try and go as close as you can to the area that you want to fix up. I still need to fix this up here because there shouldn't be a curve in the road, so I'm just going to do that now, again using the clone. We still have this area here to deal with, so I will use, instead of a clone tool, I will use the spot healing brush tool, because I think of the amount of detail here, it can do a pretty good job, and also the amount of detail, the water splatters, they can also hide quite a few things, so I'll go ahead and do that now. I think that's a pretty good job considering we've only spent a couple of minutes on it. So let's have a look at the layers. Okay, and I'm going to deselect this one. This is the original image that we've started with, and this is what we did with the spot healing brush tool and the clone tool. It's pretty amazing, right? So we could take this even further if we wanted to and remove the little confetti down here. You can use the spot healing brush tool for this. Make the size of the brush a bit smaller and just clean it up like this. It works wonders, doesn't it? It's like a magic tool. Here we go, the before and the after. I'll zoom out. So the before and the after. So this was the introduction to spot healing brush tool and the clone tool. There are many ways you can use these tools, but this is just one example. The best advice I can give you is keep practicing, because practice makes perfect. See you next time.